Okay, it looks like we are up and running, so, as always, a-questing we will go, a-questing we will go, hi-ho the Mario, questing we will go. Hello and welcome everybody. Tonight is a special, well, it's kind of like a continuation, and basically all I want to do is show some of Reinhardt's strong matchups, people that he can really do well against, and people that are a detriment to face him. You know, it's just standard stuff. Today, as a lovely assistant, we have Mofitz, who is here
Hello.
to, you know, kind of demonstrate some of the other people and such. And it's a pleasure to have her on the stream. I would definitely recommend checking out her channel. She releases really cool stuff, but, you know, that's up to you. Let's go to any particular map you'd like to go to.
Nah, it's fine.
No, in that case, I can vault it is. Don't need to do any of the stuff there. Alright, so... So, as you guys will recall, about... well, not last live stream, but the time before that, I went over different map areas that are strong with Ryan. Today, we'll simply show the matchups and such. Mo, if you would please go Doomfist first, since he's the first on the list. We'll just go ahead and go...
I am terrible with Doomfist, just letting you know.
I know, I'm just want to show some of the, like, general things.
Alright, just meet up at the first point.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright.
Alright, so... Doomfist, charge up your rocket punch, please, and aim it for me. Doomfist is a reasonable counter to Rhine, because he can interrupt your charge immediately. Do a seismic slam and then an uppercut, please.
Like that?
Did you get me with the uppercut?
I tried to.
Let's try. Let's back up a little bit. Alright. Try again, please. There you go. So, with Doomfist, he can actually put you out of position rather easily. You saw how far up I went. That gives your enemy team a very wide window of opportunity to come and get you. Well, come and get your team. Let me heal up a little bit. Now, do a fully charged rocket punch. I'm not going to stop it this time, and aim for a wall. Well, let me heal up a little bit more so I can show how much damage you can do with a fully charged one.
Okie doke.
Alright, so I'm fully healed up. Now, look at how much damage a fully charged rocket punch can do. Alright, go ahead and hit me right into this wall. Fully charged. Look at how much health went away because of that. So, that puts you at roughly half health, which is a detriment, because if you're anything... Well, if your armor ain't showing, then it's a bad day. You try to want to have your armor up. And it also puts you way out of position. Do a full rocket punch and just aim for the back over there. We're going for distance. Look at how far away that put me. So, you really got to be careful about Doomfist. Now, in a just general brawl, if he doesn't have his abilities, you can actually do a fair bit of damage. He is a 3-hit kill. Sorry, 4-hit? Is it really?
I'm at 25 right now.
Really?
So,
wait, did you have...
If there's other, as long as you have teammates around, I'd probably be dead.
Wait, did you have shields up when I hit you the first time?
I actually don't know. Possibly.
Well, okay, you have 225 and 250 health then normally, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so... Doomfist is a 250 if he doesn't have shield, so generally a 3-hit swing, or 2 swing, a fire strike, which always remember about the animation cancel and all that jazz. Go on to Genji, please. So, Doomfist, generally you want to avoid because he can put you out of position really easily. But in a standard brawl, it's not a bad matchup, but you've got to be kind of wary about him. Genji, the little bastard, go and just try to avoid my swings, kind of idea, okay? So.
Alright.
Genji can actually avoid swings relatively easily. Oh, and what she just did there was if a Genji is facing you and deflecting, then he will stop your swings. It won't. Do you have deflect up?
Yep, I have it now.
All right. Go.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't?
But I don't play Genji very often.
Well, so if a Genji is actually deflecting, you can still knock him about a little bit. He still does take the knockback, but you're not actually doing any damage to him. He is also a 3-swinger. And he can actually avoid you pretty decently. Unless...
Yeah, 3 swings.
Yeah. One good aspect for Genji is really do some wide swings with him. You really want to try and maximize your swing. That way he will get the maximum ability to actually hit the little bastard. Because with his double jump, with his dash, he can literally just dance all about you. If, you know, it's somewhat good Genji. Mo is not the greatest Genji in the world. No offense.
No, I'm not.
Be careful about Genji, though. Put your deflect up, please. Does deflect your fire strike, which is bad. Because then, you know, your fire strike is going through your entire team, and you just lost, you know, a little bit of health, and you just... It's bad. So, try to avoid the... And try to avoid getting your fire strike reflected. He is a 3-swinger, and you can also do a charge to kill him immediately. But for the most part, he's just going to be a slippery devil. And actually try to do a couple of shurikens to the face, please. So, look at how fast he can take me down. Not too much, please. Look at how fast they can actually take me down. So you got to be careful because shurikens to the face are going to just completely shred you. And shurikens to the back, especially in the 3 spread, it's just... Genji is not a favorable matchup. You want to bring him into your team a bit more, because he does have low health. On to the next one, please.
Alright.
So, Doomfist, okay matchup. He's going to be able to get you out of position. Genji, you are unfavorable matchups because he can dance around you so much, and he does very respectable damage. McCree. Flash me, please. Up and above. No, you can actually, if you throw it above my shield, you can flash me still.
Really?
Yeah, check it out.
Like
throw it above my
shield.
Yeah, just above the shield.
Nope, I missed.
Let's...
Wait for it to cool down. Alright.
See?
Oh.
So.
Interesting.
Now, when you're flashed, you are completely vulnerable, and, now do a full 6-shot into me. Do a full rapid fire.
And, of course, I aimed at the head, so it went up.
Aim for the chest. Literally, just get some meat shots on me, okay?
Alright.
So, just meat shot me. Look at how much that took my health down. And if he does the roll to reload real quick, he can tear you down in 2. So you really got to be careful, because if he flashes you, you're done. However, if you don't have a flash, he is squishy. So just start swinging away. Now, because of that roll, he can actually get out of your distance rather easily. So you got to either catch him by surprise a bit more, or you just got to really be good with your swings. But for the most part, you got to make sure that he plays in your range and you don't play into his, because he definitely has a lot of range on you. You can hit him with a fire strike, which will do some damage, but if you get too close, he's going to flash you and then just completely tear you apart with a 6-shooter. Next hero, please. So, McCree, not a favorable matchup, but if you know he doesn't have his flash, then just go hog wild on him.
Greetings.
Pharah. Pharah is a very unfavorable matchup because she will pretty much always be out of your range. Even with a jump, she's out of your range. And yes, you can try to fire strike, but it's not exactly going to work all that well. So, Pharah, unfavorable matchup. Try to keep an angle on her with your shield, because she will definitely do a lot of damage to your teammates, but very unfavorable matchup. If you see a Pharah, try to retreat a bit. You don't want her to get the angle on you. Next hero, please. Oh, now that's actually a good point. If you know that she's about to take off, you can fire strike ahead of her in straight line and be able to get a cheeky fire strike in. And it will take 2 strikes to take her down, but, you know, that's not exactly an easy task to do. Next hero, please. So
Alright.
Pharah, unfavorable matchup, and you really want to escape to your team if you are having trouble facing a Pharah. And also, I need to find that damn charger. Where'd it go? You know, I've... Ah, there you go. There's a different controller. 1 second. No, wait. There we go. Okay, looks like we are back. Oh, now my hands are all cold now. Alright. So, Reaper. Interesting matchup. His term is Tank Buster, and with good reason. So, he is a 3-hitter? No, sorry, 4 hits. 4 hits. So, you actually need... Is it really 4 hits? How is that right? Hold
After
on.
3 hits, it's 25.
Is that for everybody?
For the 250s, it seems.
1, 2, 3. Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It looks
Okay.
like you do,
I do 75 damage a swing. Huh. Alright then, apparently, so... My apologies. Any target under 250 is 3 shots, but 250s is 4. That's my bad. But still, 4 shots you can actually get done in relatively quick succession, especially if you do hit them with a fire strike first. But with Reaper, it's an interesting matchup because, so, when I'm firing, shoot me, that way you can get your health back, okay? Ready?
alright.
See how long it takes? It's a much worse matchup. And see how fast he's able to take my health down? He does have the range advantage on you, slightly. But he can also make you waste a lot of resources to try and hunt him down because of how much damage he does and because of the lifesteal. It makes your job as a tank a bit harder because he is a tank buster. So you do have to be concerned about that. A fire strike, a couple of swings will take him down, but if you see a Reaper, you definitely want to be a bit more cautious because he will be able to take you down. If you're swinging, you want to put up your shield a bit, absorb some damage. If you see him reload, that's when you really want to attack. If you will please reload, that way I can show him how long it takes for the animation.
Alright.
So, see how much time you have to get in a good couple swings, and when you're bashing about, they have to look all over the place because, you know, you just kind of thumb them all about the place. And gives you a lot more time to maneuver, and if they're just getting too big, you just put up your shield. Which will deteriorate fast if you're fighting a Reaper, for the simple fact of he's doing so much damage so close, and you have such a big target. So, Reaper, not an unfavorable matchup, but you really got to be careful when you're fighting him. Next hero, please. Generally, if you're fighting a Reaper, he will win, simply for the fact that he does so much damage. So you will want to try to be with your team when you're fighting a Reaper, but you can take him in a 1v1. That's an okay matchup. Soldier. Oh, Soldier. If Soldier's within your range, it's your end of the field day. So, alright, Mo. You're actually going to try your best to kill me, okay? And I'm going to go after you. Alright, ready? 1... Soldier is a piece of cake to take out if he's in your range. However, and he is going to try to play out of your range as much as possible because he has a very good medium game. So if you can get close to him, then just start swinging because he will go down so fast. But if you got a straight line as a soldier, so like here, go ahead and start shooting. By the time he wants to actually engage, you're in his business. And see that? She was even able to toss down her biotic and still did nothing. Soldier is a very favorable matchup if you're the one in your comfort zone. If he's in your range, then it's completely open-ended and it's your fight. He is a really good matchup. Next hero, please. Sombra. One of the most annoying heroes in the world, but... And let me just kill you, please, so I can show. Now, if you can actually pin the little creature down, she's a pretty easy kill. But the fact is, you're not going to be able to take her down that easy, because now, put down a translocator right here at the start, please. Yeah, right there at the start. Now, hack me. And start shooting. She can stay very comfortably out of your range. And even if she gets into your range, she can just teleport away. Sombra, very, very, very unfavorable matchup. And now, one thing that I will constantly forget myself, but it's best to try and remember, is... so put down a translocator again, please.
Be right back.
Now, start shooting me, get me down to about half health, please. Alright, about good. So... Oh. I didn't realize you were that low. Sorry.
Yeah, it's alright.
So
I
basically...
wasn't paying attention to her.
basically just try to stay out of my hammer range, and if you get too low, then translocate. Okay?
Okay.
Ready?
Ahorita regreso.
So... Look at how much damage she's able to do. And then she's able to translocate, and just... She's able to stay out of your range forever. And so, very unfavorable matchup. Extremely unfavorable matchup. Oh, okay, we're good. We're good. Well, I don't want to have to make the giant hike all the way back from my spawn.
Truth.
So...
Alt's up, by the way.
Go ahead.
Apagando las luces.
So,
Hey.
Sombra, don't fight, and don't chase. The thing about Sombras is that she'll actually try to make you chase her because of how low she'll get your health. So you just gotta remember to have a bit more discipline and stay with your team, because she's just... You can't take her down. She's too slippery. Next hero, please.
I'm actually kind of glad that the translocator didn't go off of the map when I threw it.
I'm sorry, but I've been laughing my ass off if that happened.
I would have too, to be honest.
Alright, Tracer. This is a fun matchup, but a hard matchup. It really depends on your skill level and hers. And stop moving around for a moment, please. 2 swing kill. Really, really easy to kill, but now this time, just use your blinks and use your recall, and try to make sure that I don't actually manage to pin you down, and just shoot the hell out of me, please.
I will do my best.
Alright, ready? Go ahead, anytime you're ready. As you can see, she can stay out of my range rather comfortably. Even if I manage to get into hers, she can just fly back out. I can try to fire strike, I can try to do this.
Oh! My bad.
No, that's perfect. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. No matter what you're doing, Tracer does have the advantage in this fight because of her mobility. She can just keep her weapons pinned on you all day long. And so, with a Tracer, you really want to be a bit more on the careful side. You don't really want to take this on a 1v1. For the simple fact of her mobility will allow her to dance circles around you all the time. So, in just a 1v1, bad matchup, but if she tries to come in and attack you and your team, then she's going to die oh so quick. Because, like I said, it's a 2 swing hit. Or 1 fire strike, a swing, you know, 2 damage sources, she's done. So, if she has more than 1 damage source and you just start swinging, she's not going to be able to last all that long. So, this is an engagement you want to take with your team, and if she's starting to try to dive on you, then you want to back up and make sure she doesn't really have the opportunity to actually get the, you know, angles on you. Because you can block a fairly wide area, and if you keep backing up, she's just going to have to try to keep linking forward, which will then give you the chance to start swinging. So, you can take the matchup with her, but take it with your team much better. Next hero, please. Yeah.
Alright.
Bastion. I will simply say Bastion is your worst enemy.
Oops. There we go.
Okay, so let's say that this is where the Bastion is, shield up, so as soon as I come around the corner, start shooting, alright?
Alright.
Look at how fast she's able to shred your shield. Stop, 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 stop. So, this is before, and so when I even get to here, she already has my shield completely destroyed. Well, completely per se, it got down to roughly like 100 or so, I think. So that means that you have no shield. You never want to have your shield below that 100 if you can possibly avoid it. So, by simply walking up this far, look at how far that is. It's not very far, and you're not even within range to start swinging yet. Now, so once I get to that, and so once I get around the corner, start shooting, and this time just keep shooting until I say stop, okay?
Okay.
Look at how fast she's able to shred you. Even with me trying to jump around a little bit, even with me trying to conserve my shield a little bit more, I can't get close enough. So, Bastion, and now, let's show you what happens if you actually do manage to get close enough. Let's say you manage to sneak up on him and you don't have your charge. Well, you know, once I actually get there. 1 second. Alright, so let's say by happenstance you use your charge, you manage to get up close enough to the Bastion, start swinging. Look at how long that takes for you to take him out. And that's without healing. Now heal, well, okay. This next time, set up into turret form, let me get behind you, and let me get in one swing before you start firing and then trying to survive, okay?
Okay.
Alright, ready? Alright,
Yes.
so one swing. You see how
6 health.
you see how close I was actually able to get her, and that's with me jumping her all around. That's me doing what I can. It's a very, very hard fight to get. Honestly, it's such a hard fight that you can't really do it. Now, if you do manage to get the charge off, then you will be able to be in a bit of a better fight. But Bastion, don't go near. Ever, 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 ever. I told you that Sombra is a bad matchup, and that's true. This is a nightmare scenario. Turret form, please. So, let's say you manage to get the charge in. You can kill them with a charge and swing, but that's only if you can actually get close enough to do the charge and swing. You can throw fire strikes at them all day long. You can start swinging and do a fire strike, and you just see how long it takes you to actually take down a Bastion. Never go up against a Bastion. You need to let your team take them out. And because honestly, as a reasonable Reinhardt, I've played Reinhardt for a very few hours now, and I face a fair number of Bastions. And this is one of my biggest points, is that there is no real way to actually take out a Bastion. So, set up in front of the stairs, please. The sentry mode. And I'm going to charge you, and you're going to shoot, okay? So, as soon as I come around the corner, you know, just start shooting. Now, that was a relatively short amount of time to actually charge. So, she wasn't quite able to get a bead on me. But if you have any kind of length on your charge, it's like, let's say we go from here, okay? Ready? So the moment you see me charge, start shooting, okay?
Okay.
Again, look at your health. If you have even more, and if you have any more of a charge than this, you're not going to be able to take them down. And you also have to remember, one thing about Bastions is they're going to be near their team. Now, you can sometimes get them into a 1v1 scenario, and it's a rare time, and that's when you have the rules I was talking about earlier. But the thing about Bastion is that you'll never really catch him on his own. It's only ever when he's with his team, which means all that damage you just took, getting me to 125, means that that's 125 damage that the enemy team can do to you, and you're just dead immediately, before you can even touch him. Never, ever, ever go up against Bastion if you can. You gotta let your team gig him. Next hero, please. So, Bastion, never go after. Never go after. He is the worst matchup possible. Hanzo.
Greetings.
Good day. Scattershot me. Full at the feet. Look at how much health you have left. I hate Hanzo Scattershot so much. So much. Alright, so, come out of spawn, please. Thank you. Alright, so, start shooting and try to take me out, okay?
Ah!
Now, go
The
ahead.
door.
Now, you see that... Oh. Wait,
Where
what?
are you?
Wait, what? What in the...
What's the matter? What happened?
I'm not 100% sure what just happened. I'm very lost right now. Oh, okay then. So, and with Hanzo, it is more or less a case of soldier. If you can go close enough to him, then he's yours for easy picking. You gotta watch that scatter shot, because that will completely eviscerate you. But outside of that, he's not going to be able to do much to you. So, Hanzo, favorable matchup in your range. Watch out for scatter. Next hero, please.
Greetings.
Oh, I missed. Junkrat. Now, the thing about Junkrat is that they actually think that he counters Reinhardt. But a good Reinhardt will be able to just completely destroy a Junkrat. Most of the time. So, start throwing a couple bombs at my shield. Alright, so see how much... So you were able to get down to 1,400 in 5 rounds of ammunition. And by the time they have to reload, that means you get a chance to come in and start swinging. So, this time I'm going to try and start killing you, and you are going to kill me back, okay?
Alright.
Ready? Now, you see the Junkrat will definitely want to try to get out of your range as quick as possible by using the old mine kit technique. But the thing is, you get a free fire strike on them after that, because they have a very slow little starting to walk. They have a very predictable line of, you know, where they're being exploded to. You have an easy fire strike. You have a couple of very easy, you know, hits with your hammer. So, he does actually do respectable damage, and if you're caught off guard before you can start swinging, he might actually be able to take you down. But Junkrat is a rather favorable matchup because he doesn't quite have enough ability to take you down before you can take him down. In most scenarios, well, okay, so Junkrat is definitely one of the first characters that you really need to be using your fire strike with, just because of how much he's able to get out of your range with his one conch mine. So, use your fire strike on him. Couple of hits, he's down. Very easy to go. Next hero, please. So, Junkrat, very favorable matchup, but, you know, played a little bit more on the smart side with him. Don't let him ambush you. Now, Mei is a hard fight. This is not a favorable matchup. Start freezing me, please. Now, it takes you a long time to be able to get off your cold, and she can get behind you rather easily. It's really, really, really difficult to actually start fighting a Mei who's freezing you. Now, this time I'm going to start swinging back and, you know, just do what a Mei normally would do. Alright, so, ready? See, that ice block and that wall are detriments. And she can just dance circles around you, and as you're frozen, go ahead and do a freeze and then headshot, please. Show them how much damage you do. So, look at it.
Did a little bit extra damage, but that's his
You're fine.
trigger finger.
So, she actually does do respectable damage, and by the time she can... Okay, so... Freeze me, headshot me, well, just shoot me, and then try freeze me again before I can start swinging, okay?
Okay.
Look at how fast she's able to refreeze you, even if you're able to start swinging. She is a very unfavorable matchup. I do not advise facing... Oh, back to... Oh, apparently skirmish took so long. So, Mei is a very unfavorable matchup because of her ability to freeze you, dance around you, and do very respectable damage. And the fact that she can get out of your... She gets a get out of jail free card with her cryo freeze. Mei, very unfavorable matchup. Do not fight a Mei one-on-one. I would not advise really taking her with your team, because she's not usually one to actually be in the midst of things. But if you can take her with your team, then take her with your team. For the most part, unfavorable matchup. Don't fight a Mei. Next hero, please. Also, big shout out to Mo for helping us with all the matchups and such like that. We do appreciate you, Mo.
No problem.
So, the Torbjorn. Now, we're going... I'm just standard fight, no turrets, okay?
Alright.
Ready? Torbjorn, very easy picking. Use your shotgun this time, please. I know you were using your rivet gun for the most part.
Shotgun? What?
You didn't know that...
Oh!
You didn't know Torbjorn
No.
had... What? Well, we know that Mo doesn't play Torbjorn all that much. Okay, so, ready? Anytime
Alright.
you're ready.
Nope.
Now,
Oh.
the shotgun actually does respectable damage. Now, most Torbjorns will be using the shotgun in close range. Some may actually still be using the rivet gun because, you know, they don't play Torbjorn all that much. And the shotgun, if it does a headshot, will actually do very, very, very respectable damage. But for the most part, you can actually take a Torbjorn one-on-one with relative ease. Pardon me. He just doesn't quite stack up to Ryan. His hammer isn't quite big enough. Now, you know, that's a tiny hammer comparatively. So turret up, please. Put it roughly about here or so.
Right here?
Yep, level it up. And then I'm going to come around the corner and start attacking, okay?
Alright, we're all
Ready?
set.
So, you know where the turret is. You've already know where it is. What? Okay, apparently the turret has more health than I thought it did. Now, notice how much damage was actually able to be done to me before I was able to take out that turret. So, you gotta be careful if you're playing around a Torbjorn and his turret. This time stay near the turret, please. And actually try to start building it back up. Say that you really want to keep this thing alive.
Alright.
Once it gets down to a point where you know that it's futile to keep it alive, start swinging back, okay? Well, start, you know...
Actually, hold on. There we go. Healed up.
Alright. So, level it up and then keep hitting it with your hammer a couple of times until about, like, half health for your turret, then start shooting at me, okay?
Yep. We got
Ready?
it.
Alright, ready? So... Now,
Ah.
if a Torbjorn is much more of a turret troll, then it's a fight that you can win easy. But if he just kind of throws his turret out and if he actually switches over to his shotgun and starts, you know, shotgunning you, or even riveting you, it's not a easy fight. So, take a Torbjorn on without his turret is a much easier fight. Taking on a Torbjorn with his turret, you're going to have to be careful. And, you know, it's not a hard fight, if you can get in his range, but be careful with shotguns because again, do very respectable damage. So, not a ill-advised fight, not a favorable fight, it's a how good the Torbjorn is. Next hero, please. And a fight with his turret is going to be much harder than a fight without his turret. Alright, Widowmaker. So, line up headshots and start trying to do as much damage as you can before I get to you, okay?
Okay. Ah! I'm down to 50.
She is a squishy. She can actually be taken out rather easily, and if you have a straight line to just start walking at her, it's fine. Now use your grapple hook and get behind me, please. Well, when I'm up to a respectable point where you would want to grapple away, okay?
Okay.
So, ready?
Mhm.
Now, she can run away for days, and she can do some respectable damage, and she can just keep on running away. So, you're not going to be able to really get close enough to do all that much damage, but the moment that you are close enough, you're able to do some really good damage. And the thing is, you know where she's going to have to eventually go to. You know where the health packs are. So, this is simply a cat and mouse kind of fight. She can't take a whole lot of damage. She can only take the 3 swings, or, you know, the fire strike and a couple of swings and all that jazz. But, for the most part, a Widowmaker is not your main... She's not what you're focusing on. Now, let's say that you have... go back to the spawn door, please. Well, actually, where is a good Widow point on this map? Oh, wait, okay, I know. Go set up where the Bastion usually sets up on the first point, please. So, your main job as a Reinhardt is, against a Widow, is line of sight prevention. Now, so you know, and we all know where that Widow is, so and someone has died to her already, so shield up immediately around this corner, and just keep, your job is on that sniper. You can't let her get any kind of real visibility. You want to take this ground up here, so she has no visibility on your team. At least none really good visibility. You can, of course, toss a fire strike, but for the most part, if a Widow is good, she'll see that fire strike coming long time before it gets there. And it takes 2 fire strikes to actually kill her, so it's not an easy fight. If you can get the surprise fire strike on her, then definitely throw it, because that will force her to reposition, look for health, whatever. But for the most part, leave Widows alone, simply block off their line of sight. Next hero, please. Oh, but if you can actually get into that, like, lane that we were getting into, keep your shield up. She'll start doing some damage, but she won't be able to do all that much. Alright. Diva. Interesting one. Very interesting one. Use everything in your arsenal, try to kill me, but, you know, try to avoid actually, you know, killing me, please. Ready?
Alright. Yep.
Routing power to forward shield.
Alright, you get low.
Yep. Now, look how that fight went. She is a very medium, a very neutral engagement. And it is a fight that can go either way, but for the most part, you actually do have the advantage on the Diva. Baby Diva is a 2-hit kill, just like Tracer. And Big Diva, if you just can keep swinging, if you can just keep jumping from side to side, making her follow you, making sure that your battlefield, then you have the advantage, because, so, I'm going to start swinging and then you keep firing at me, okay? Just like the last battle.
Alright.
So, and just keep firing, and look at how much damage I'm able to do her with her each swing. I'm able to knock her out of mech really easily. Okay, stop. We're good. So I'm able to knock her out of mech very easily. Next hero, please. I'm able to knock her out of mech very easily, and she, even if she used a lot of resources to try and take me down, she just can't quite do enough damage to you if you play it smart. You saw the moment that she pulled out her rockets, I immediately put up my shield. That is damage you do not want to be taking. So if you can actually just play smart, you have the D.Va's number. The moment that she gets out of mech, put up a shield, because some of those first bullets will be more towards her mark, and then you're able to just march in and take the baby D.Va. So D.Va, very neutral engagement, but a bit more on your favor. Alright, ready? So, I'll put up a shield right in front of you, and start firing the moment that I put my shield up, okay?
Alright.
Now, do what you can to actually take me down, using every ability. Now see, much less favorable engagement. Because of that ability to pull me out of position, and because of her ability to actually do a lot more consistent damage to me, because she actually has projectile, not the hit scan that D.Va has. So, with the Orisa engagement, it's a much harder engagement because of her ability to just keep pulling you out of range. Her Fortify ability will do a very good work about making sure she doesn't take more damage, but for the most part, you can just keep on whacking her when she's in Fortify. Aw, aren't you cute? But so for the most part, and honestly, it's a bad engagement, but a winnable engagement. If you play it smart, if you just keep doing everything you can, keep luring her away, you can take her, but you gotta be careful of that Fortify, because she can just keep pulling you out of position. Neutral engagement, but a one more favor towards her instead of one favor towards you. Next hero, please. Oh, also with a note on Orisa. You will usually see Orisas with her team, which means that's why I had her put up the shield first, because you have to get past that shield first, and you are opening up the... you're basically like opening up the choke point. You're opening up the nut, as it were. And so you just start swinging, because once they're past that initial shield, that's when Orisa has to start becoming a brawler. She's not meant to be a brawler, but she can certainly hold her own. Like I said, neutral engagement, not great. Rhine v. Rhine. This one doesn't exactly need a whole lot of explaining. You know, 75 damage a swing, it's going to add up. And then throw in a Fire Strike, you know, it's really just a case of, you know, who can take out the other first. Shields do absolutely nothing. And it's simply a case of, you know, whichever Reinhardt starts beating up the other first. Now, again, throw in a Fire Strike whenever you want, because the Reinhardt wants to be in your exact kind of, you know, playing field. That's where he's starting to be swinging too, so... it's really just whoever can dish out a little bit more damage before the other one is going to win that fight. Next hero, please. Now, if you'll actually all notice, one thing I'm doing is that I'm not actually using my charge, and I will only occasionally use my Fire Strike. Now, the reason for the charge I will get into later, but the Fire Strike, a general rule for the Fire Strike is, if you are in a 1v1, throw it out. I'm just showing general swings because sometimes a Reinhardt will forget about his abilities and will just start swinging. So I'm showing you how fast you can do things with just the swing. When you're just starting to think about, yeah, I need to swing, I need to swing. Well, anytime you have a Fire Strike, remember, that does 100 damage to your normal swing, which does only 75. So if you have your Fire Strike, throw it out. Simple as that. Now, Hog. This is a war. This is a bloody war. I want you to just try to stay alive and do as much damage as to me as you can, please. Ready?
Alright.
Now, he can comfortably stay out of your range. And, as you saw with that heal... okay, so, stop. please. So, now, this time I'm just going to swing. Once you get to about half health, maybe 250, use your heal, please.
Okay.
Ready? So, look at how many swings it takes to take down the pig. And literally, look, this is just a giant war of attrition. Don't go up against the hog on your own. Now, the reason for this is that you can't do enough damage to him before he does enough damage to you. This is a very ill-advised fight because of just how long it takes you to try and take him down. During all that time while I'm swinging, he can just keep shooting you. Even if he's only doing a little bit of damage, even if he's doing a little bit more damage, it adds up a lot faster than yours adds up on him. And then with this hook, he can stun you for a second, which gives him even more damage. So don't really try to fight a hog as a general. He just takes too much damage. However, on a note, if you can do enough damage to him and make him use his take a breather, back off, and he will back off as well. Hogs don't like it if they don't have a take a breather. Even if a Reinhardt is weakened, let's say that I only have like I don't know, 250 health. Let's say I'm about half health. From my experiences, hogs will back off if they have to use take a breather, and you still have enough health that they don't really want to commit to this fight. They don't like having that blanket of, I'm vulnerable. Because you have to remember, Hog has such a huge hitbox that he can actually go down rather quickly. So, if he uses a take a breather, start backing up to your team, and the Hog will generally head off. He'll head for the hills. Next hero, please. Now, I'm not saying that's a definite, I'm saying that's generally what happens to me. If I'm with my team and the Hog doesn't have a take a breather, he's generally backing off. Winston. Winston is a very easy target. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to hold up a shield, jump in behind me, and start doing damage, and that's when I'll turn around, okay?
Alright.
So, you can get in really close to the Winston. His shield does absolutely nothing. And he has to run away first. You can just keep on swinging. You do so much damage compared to him that even in a long drawn-out fight, he was only able to do roughly about half damage to me before I was able to kill him. And that's without fire strikes, which, like I said, if you have a fire strike, throw it out. Now, generally, you won't actually see... Now, okay, so this time just start attacking me where you are. So just attack me. Now, you saw that he actually does get through your shield. But, again, you just can do so much damage to him, and that he has to run before you do. And even if he does run, if he wants to fight you, it's a very good battleground because he has to be in your range to fight you, which means you have the advantage in this one. Now, you do have to remember, he does go through your shield, and he will attack any allies near your shield and still be going through it. So, he is a bad matchup against, well, he's a really good matchup just on a 1v1, but you do have to play him cautiously. Well, play against him cautiously because of the fact that he will still go through your shield. So if he has any kind of ally, you want to be a bit more on the careful side because, you know, even if you start backing up... Okay, so I'm going to start backing up like I have low health. Just press your attack, okay? So keep on me. See, he can actually keep on par with you rather easily, and now you see he is actually able to start whittling me away rather fast. Alright, we're good? So, if you have to be the one backing up, and if you're already on low health, he will actually be able to take you down rather easily. But that's only if you are the one backing up. If you're the one pressing forward, Winston is a very easy matchup. Next hero, please. Zarya. Now, mid to low charge, you're fine. Any time of mid to high charge, don't fight. Flat out. Now, the reason for this is, At low charge, so go ahead and do some damage, please. Look at how fast she can actually take down your shield, which isn't fast. And by the time you get into her range, you're able to do a lot of damage. Now, even with her barrier up, you can still do a lot of damage to her. You can actually take her down rather easily in that fight. Here, come and heal up. So, the reason why I say mid to low charge you can take her is because so try to do as much damage as you can, okay?
Alright.
It's a similar thing with Winston and a couple other heroes, that they just don't do enough damage to be a threat. You can just keep on whacking them away, whacking them as much as you want, because they can't do any kind of real damage to you. Not any kind of significant damage. Especially if you throw up your shield, you block Zarya. So, that's just the thing. But if she is high charge, especially max charge, she will melt you instantly. So you gotta be the one backing up on the high charge situation. You gotta let her come to you, let her lose some of that charge. Because a high charge Zarya will destroy you. Hands down. Next hero, please. So, favorable matchup depending on what you're facing. Well, depending on her charge. Alright. Now, Anna. Try to, and well, do what you can to take me out, okay?
I'll do my best.
Now, sleep is one of your kind of biggest enemies.
Oh, I need to be out.
You're good. Now, that was actually rather good. So the sleep is one of your biggest enemies. The reason for that is that, you know, it's a standard stun. And it's a long stun. Now, let's say that she tosses out her grenade. You know, that's fine. She is going to be able to do a bit of damage onto you, but not all that much, actually. And the thing is, she is a relatively squishy target. You saw how many swings it actually took me to take her down. She was a relatively easy target. But that sleep is your detriment. Because an Anna who has slept a target will immediately call upon her team to say, hey, I got somebody slept here, you know, take them out. So, if you know that she doesn't actually have sleep, then take her out. Other than that, you know, even if she has sleep, this is a favorable matchup on the 1v1. Because of just, she can't do enough damage to you. And literally, go ahead and do a couple of shots onto me. And look at how fast she can take me down. Not very. So, Annas are a very favorable engagement. But be careful of that sleep because it can be a complete and utter, you know, killjoy. Next hero, please.
Killed it. Hey, salute you.
Now, Lucio is a okay engagement. It's a neutral engagement on your side, I'd say. But it's not a easy engagement by any means. Now, his health pool is relatively weak. He's a squishy. But, okay, so try to stay within this kind of little area so you can wall ride and wall jump and such, and do as much damage as you can, okay? Now, you saw how fast I was actually able to take her down. But if she can actually get behind you, if she can, you know, just dance all about, then, you know, Mo would be able to take... Well, Lucio is a favorable engagement, actually. Now that I think about it. Because, okay, let's try... okay, yeah, let's try in here, where you have a bit more room to try and wall ride, alright? So...
I will say I'm not the best wall rider.
Well, so the thing about Lucio is that he is a squishy, and he can't really do all that much damage against you. Now, if he gets a couple of headshots, which go ahead and do a full burst of headshots, please. as you can see, that's actually rather respectable. So if you can get the headshots, if he's an accurate Lucio, then it's going to be a bit more of a difficult thing to fight a Reinhardt. But because of his low health pool, he's a bit easier to take down. You simply have to worry about his mobility, and you have to worry about his ability to heal up, and use your boop and just boop me. See how far away I go. Look at how far away that is. So that actually puts you at a fair bit of disadvantage because, remember, look at that. That took 3 rough seconds or so to get within range to be able to start beating him up again. So I'd say if you can actually catch the little bastard and he doesn't have the greatest aim, then it's a very favorable matchup. If not, then it's a neutral matchup, your favor. Next hero, please. Yeah, on this matchup, I just feel bad for the Mercy. Next hero, please.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, Mercy is fodder. Well, okay, I'm actually curious. How much damage can you do in a realistic fight? I mean, oh, I feel kind of bad for this matchup, I really do, so go ahead, do as much damage as you can.
You knocked me back quite a bit.
Oh, actually. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, maybe I don't feel quite as bad. Now, generally, if you can actually catch her, then she's a rather easy kill. Now, if you're actually having to back up into her, then she can apparently do some pretty reasonable damage, especially getting some headshots in there, I'm guessing. But generally, you're going to be able to get the advantage on the Mercy because she is such a squishy, and I do feel bad for any kind of general engagement with a Ryan versus a Mercy, because it's just... Oh, the Mercy is such a disadvantage. Next hero, please. Well, generally, just, you know, the Mercy is not an easy... She's not easy to defend herself. But she will fly to her team if available, so you do have to be careful on that one. If you can take her down, it's going to be a fast fight. If not, then, you know, she's not going to be able to take you down all that fast unless she can get some headshots. Now, Moira. Try to stay alive.
Oh, I did my best.
Very easy target. Very favorable engagement. Because her damage just cannot compare to yours. Now, she will fade and she will try to get away. She can heal herself up a bit. And this time, instead of throwing out the healing, can you throw out a damage, please?
Yes, I was actually thinking I should have done that first.
So, even still, you saw, just, it does not stack up. She just physically can't really stand up to Reinhardt. Very favorable engagement against the Moira. Next hero, please. Only thing about a Moira is that if she's starting to lose, she will fade and try to get back to her team. So, you know, favorable engagement. Now this one actually might surprise. Symmetra is a very, very, very unfavorable matchup. Now, I will show you exactly why. Go ahead, start doing as much damage as you can. Now, that was only level 2 damage that she was starting to do. Now, this time, if you would please,
I feel like a new man.
we're going to actually put up a couple of turrets, so I have to keep, you know, having to look at that one. So,
Okay.
put 3 turrets up on this wall, please. Alright. And then put 2 turrets down over here, please. And then the last one, put down whenever you feel like.
Ah, come on. I can't, forget it.
Alright.
Alright.
Oh,
And
okay,
the last one.
well, save your last one and put it down when you feel like it, okay? Alright, so
That's right.
let's...
They're reloading, so it'll be fine.
Okay, so... And I don't really know... What was... Did I actually... Oh, I see. Okay. I'm going to take that one out, so we don't... And, okay. And then put that one down whenever you... And so while we're actually fighting, try putting that one down, okay? So, 1 second. And the moment you see an opportunity, start damaging me, okay?
Alright.
Alright, so... I know where they're starting to get up, so, you know, put my shield up. Well, okay. So, oh, we get kicked out again. Did it really last that long? Well, I guess it did.
I think it's only 30 minutes.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, okay. This time, the moment that you have an ability to start putting your beam on me, keep it on me, okay?
Okie doke.
Justice will be done.
And if you would, please put your turrets in similar places, please. And keep that last one for yourself. And just throw that one down when you want to. Alright, good.
Just about. There you go. Finally got it where I wanted it to.
Alright, so you start marching forward. You see the turret. You immediately want to turn over to him, but that's just it. Look at how much damage she's actually... Oh. He had the most dramatic death in the world. Now, this is why you don't ever want to do a Symmetra 1v1. Now, okay, so this time, meet me, I'm going to take down your turrets, and then just place up one when you have the ability to do so, okay? While we're fighting.
Okay.
So, okay, can you just come into this little area? That way... Alright, so, ready? Well, okay, put one up here. That way I have to focus on that one first. Alright, ready? So, immediately have to take out that one. And, okay, so let's say you put your shield up. Look at how much damage she's actually able to do to you. With Symmetra, she keeps getting her damage up and up and up. Which means that the longer the fight is, the more of an advantage she has. And because you have to initially start out looking at her turrets, because, what is it, 4 or 5, and you have to get, and you're kind of like stuck?
It's 6 in total. You can have 6 turrets up at a time.
Well, no, I meant that it's for like 4 or 5 that the person in your trap gets stuck. Here, will you actually put 2 turrets on this wall and 1 turret on this wall, please?
2 and 1 over here?
Yes, please. And don't actually attack me this time, I just want to see how slowed down I am.
Alright.
Alright, so that's fine. Put up another on the right wall, please. Or your left.
Much better.
Good? Okay, so look at how slow that ends up putting you. 1 more on each wall, please. Let's see if it's 6 will stop you almost dead.
Alright.
So, yeah. The reason why you don't ever want to be fighting the Symmetra is because she will almost always have the advantage. She has more damage than you. She has the ability to distract you. And just as a general, she is a pain in the ass. Don't fight a Symmetra. She has the advantage and almost always will. Very, 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 very bad engagement. So don't fight the Symmetra if at all physically possible. Next hero, please.
The enemy has a shield generator.
And, you know, also, she can possibly have that up, which means even more health. So, the only person I say is a worse engagement, as it were, would be Bastion. But Symmetra is by far one of your worst engagements, hands down. Zenyatta. Alright, so, if you don't get the drop on Zenyatta, Discord me. Alright, and start shooting. Try to take me out.
Ooh, I got close there.
You did. But that's generally how it's going to go. This time, throw in a couple of headshots if you can. Okay?
I would do my best. I was trying to be honest.
Alright, and this time you won't start off the Discord, okay? So.
Alright.
But, so that means that you want to throw in your Discord when you can. Now, with Zenyatta, it is actually a pretty good fight. However, he has the range advantage on you so much. And if he has the Discord on you, then it's going to be a very big detriment. And so, put a Discord on me, please, and do one standard headshot. Look at how much that took your health down. And remember, he has no damage fallout, so if you're making your way all the way from over here, that means... And do another headshot, please. So... So that means that you're actually doing... And he's doing a lot more damage to you than you can possibly do to him before you can get within fighting range. However, if you're in fighting range, then the advantage is yours, because he is a relatively squishy character. If he charges up and hits you with a couple of balls at once, it can be painful. Which, if you would please, this time, and start having a bit of balls up and hit me with them, and I'll start swinging. Okay? Go with a charge of 3, please. So. No. Will you do a charge of 3 and keep firing, please? So.
Okay.
It's like you managed to open up with a charge of 3, okay?
Alright.
Alright, so... Start doing your charge up, please, while I'm... Yeah, so... And go ahead.
Oh.
So, you saw that that fight started to draw out a little bit, and he started to get his health back. You don't really want that to happen, because then they have the range advantage on you again, and, you know, you're trying to fight shields. So, with Zen, it's simply a case of, if it's a good Zen, you're going to be mincemeat. But if it's an okay Zen, then he's just not going to be able to do quite enough damage to you to actually, you know, take you down. And that's roughly how it is.
Pass into the unknown.
Oh, that actually keeps you from... Forgot about that. Alright. Now go over to Reaper, please.
Reaper?
Reaper. So, Zen, favorable matchup, but, you know, you want to make sure that he's in your range. Now, we're going to talk about the charge. Now, Reaper is in the middle of most of the heroes. He has a reasonable health pool, and this is what I was talking about with the charge. He has 250, which is roughly what you're going to see a lot of the time. 250 or under. Now, you kill 250 under with your charge. Go over to, go over to Zarya, who has 400. If you would, please.
Yes.
Alright, so... Look at that. Now, she is in a very good... And she is in very good hidden health, but... Well, okay, so the main thing about your charge is... if you have the ability to charge, which... A good kind of like charging distance, I found, is from roughly about here. Generally, that means that you have enough surprise on somebody that they can't really move all that far. So try to get out of the way of this charge, okay? I'm not going to say when it's going to happen, just... They don't really have enough time to get out of the way. Try going to a character with a little bit more mobility. Somebody who's still chunky, please, but... Try Doomfist, please.
Okay.
Now, if you'll note, I'm actually asking her to be a bit more on the chunky side. So, ready?
Ah.
So, that's why I say that, roughly from this distance, it's a safe charging distance. Now, you do want to try and make sure they have the wall behind them, because that's where you're doing your damage. But, if not, then you can simply pull them out of position, get them into the 1v1 situation. Whatever. Go over to Arisa, please. So, anybody with any kind of real chunk to them, anybody say like Reaper or Arisa or, who else would you? Well, is there anybody that you'd say is on the more slender side? So, like say Anna or Tracer, Lucio. Who would you? Mercy's probably on the slender side as well.
Yeah. Definitely.
Go back into the hero selection, please, and then kind of say which ones do you think are more on the slim side. Any of the, like, really slim ones, please.
Slender side.
So, Tracer, Genji... Soldier is definitely on the more chunky side, I'd say. Well, actually, no, go Soldier. Go Soldier.
Soldier? Okay.
Yes, please. So, Soldier is about as chunky as... Well, he's about as slender as you want to be generally fighting with your charge. If they're more slender than that, then they're probably actually going to be able to avoid you. With Soldier, you know... He still has a chunky enough size hitbox that you can generally get him. Go over to Tracer, please. And don't use blinks, but still try to avoid me, okay?
Yeah.
See? And once more, please. Well, once I get my thing back. Alright. The slender characters have a lot smaller hitbox, so you can't really be the kind of cheeky, you know, just grab them up as you're passing by, like any of the other kind of chunky characters. So, the general rule of thumb is you want to play within a reasonable distance away from the character. You want to make sure that they don't really have the time to get away if they have the meaty if they have the more chunky hitbox. Now, if it's on the slender side of the hitbox, you can try to charge them from here. Then they don't really have much of a chance to get away, but they generally can see you coming because your charge has a very long setup time. It has a very large charge. Cast time. That's what they call it. So, and also a thing about your charge is, go to a chunky character, say Reaper again, please. And then stand about... Okay, we'll say stand about here. Say that you're playing the choke. So, let's say that this is what you're trying to do. You're going to try and hit him. So, you're trying to hit him... Now, don't actually move out of the way, please. Just take the charge on this one. So, let's say that you're charging him. Look at how far out of position you are. That's so far out of position. Let's say that your team's all the way back there and you just charge. Let's say you actually managed to get the pick. Let's say you managed to get the Reaper. Well, you're out of position, which means your team doesn't have a shield. So you have to remember that your charge can take you far, far out of position, which is not good. Now, go hog, please.
Okay.
So, generally, if you have a decent bit of... if you have the ability to charge somebody into the wall from this reasonable amount of space, and they're chunky, then, take that charge. That's generally what I try to do. Now, hog, remember how I said this was an unfavorable fight in the 1v1? Take the charge, please, and then try to do what you can to stay alive, okay? So, charge him. Much, much better fight. The reason for that, it immediately makes him use his take a breather. That's what every hog will do the moment that he's charged, is he will take a breather. So, while he's taking a breather, you still get a couple of whales on him, making his health lower, which makes him not really want to be in this fight, but if he's already committed, then he's going to keep fighting. But that gives you so much advantage, because you now have the health advantage. And while he's scrambling to shoot you, and while you're still moving around, you'll see this is one of my things that I do a lot when I'm in a 1v1, especially against a tank, is I'm jumping from side to side like this. I'm sometimes jumping a little bit more to the side, and sometimes jumping a little bit less, but I'm always jumping side to side. The reason for that is, because of Reinhardt, he has a cone, a very large cone of swing, where he's doing damage. But every other tank, they don't as much. Besides Orisa, who has a reasonable cone because of her projectile, everybody else, they have to be almost more spot on. They have to go for the meat shots. Which means that while you're jumping around, they're only hitting you with a little bit at a time. With Zarya, you can possibly even avoid her damage altogether. But it's especially with Hog, he can only get you with a little bit of chunk, So that's why it gives you such the advantage. So if you can actually charge the tank, then you have the immediate advantage so much. Because even Hog, who has the most health in the game, you charge him, he has so much less health, which makes it a much more better fight. Go to D.Va, please.
D.Va.
Now show them.
So, D.Va, you saw how long that fight took. Now, taking even less time. She flew off, but it's because you now have the health advantage. You have such a major health advantage once you charge them that you can win almost any tank fight. So remember, I've said this before, so that's fine. But now on to the biggest thing about Ryan. We've met his matchups, we've gone down the line, who he's strong against, who he's not. And now for the most important thing. Go Mercy, since I know it's your more comfortable hero.
Okay.
And then go to the choke point, please. Well, actually, okay, before you go to choke point, so get behind my shield like you're my ally, please. So,
Alright.
your job as a tank is you have to protect Little Mercy right there. Not in this case scenario since she's red, but, side and red and blue side of the sides. So your main job is to protect Little Miss Mercy right there. Now, you can do that through a couple of different ways. You can either, one, stand there, start taking damage, but as I said in the maps video, this is a pretty hefty choke point. So that's not always the best way to make up space. And especially, once here, what are you doing? Yes, you're making up a little space, but now there's plenty of other room that she can be attacked from. So that's when you start swinging your hammer. You start making space that way. Because nobody wants to see a giant German in their face, especially when, he's swinging. And, maybe Anna, when she's in the bedroom, she likes seeing a German man with his hammer, but, most people, they don't like seeing a German man with their hammer in their face. So, you gotta make the space. That is your #1 job. So, now, stay over there on the choke, and, just start shooting, please. So, you can actually do a lot of shielding. Alright. So, your main job is to make up the space. You make the enemy team back up. You make sure that you take the ground and you hold it. Because all these matchups, you saw that they were kind of long, kind of grinding fights. Just in the standard 1v1 of Rhine, it wasn't exactly an easy fight for them. The Rhine can win a lot of those fights, but, you know, they take forever. And they're not exactly where you need to be. For the most part, Rhine isn't actually going to be taking on 1v1s. It's not who he is. He is going to be brawling. He's going to be in the middle of his team, in the middle of the enemy team, and just swinging. And that's where he needs to be. He has a big blue shield. He has a very reasonable hammer with reasonable damage that can actually knock people about a bit. He has an ult that... if you would stop moving, please. So, he has a very wide range of... he has a very wide range of ult that makes space. It does almost no damage. It does 50 damage to anybody caught in the vicinity, but it makes space because now they can't do anything. It's a stun. You see the charge... Oh, okay, that was actually perfect. Mo had no idea I was about to charge there. And she was just barely able to kind of step out of the way because she's such a slender little character. That's why I say you don't really want to go targeting the slender characters, because they're going to be able to get out of your way. But so, the charge, that makes up a bit of space as well. Now yes, in the case that I was pointing out over here with the Reaper, it does actually put you out of position, but there is a counter side to that as well. Now, let's say that this is just a really humdum kind of poke at the choke kind of point. You're pushing through, your shield is already taking a lot of damage, you charge. That means every enemy on the enemy team is now looking right at you, because... Mo, have you ever been able to avoid looking at a charging Reinhardt?
No, not really.
Reinhardt commands respect. And if you see a charging Reinhardt, you just immediately see the charging Reinhardt. So, yes, you can start knocking them down like bowling pins, but it's a risky move, because of the fact that you are no longer with your team. So, it's really up in the air about what the best case scenario in a poke at the choke kind of area like this is. Make space with your body, or make space with your shield. Or make space with anything else. It's really up in the air, and really just depends on what else is happening. But that is the number one thing about Reinhardt. The number one thing. It's all about making space. Because you can't do all that much on your own. You can do a fair bit, as we saw in the matchups. You can take people down. You can do rather well. But you gotta make your space for the team. You have to. Okay, Mo, you usually see the Reinhardt from the, you're not usually the one playing Reinhardt. What happens if a Reinhardt isn't shielding? If he is just swinging?
People tend to try and attack him while he's swinging, while also backing up.
Now, what happens if he never raises his shield at all?
He tends to die.
And is a dead Reinhardt any kind of use to the team?
No.
Now, what happens if a Reinhardt only ever has a shield up if he never starts swinging?
Eventually the shield will break if he only keeps his shield up.
And a shieldless
and then
Reinhardt?
it'll be an easy and then it'll be an easy pick.
A shieldless Reinhardt is a bad Reinhardt. But a too much swinging Reinhardt, a too much glory Reinhardt is a bad Reinhardt. The biggest thing about a good Reinhardt, at least so I've been told, is the fact that I know when to shield and when to swing. Now, this choke point is very difficult to take, but it's very easy to defend if you're correctly able to do so. Now, a lot of Reinhardts will just stand right here with their shield up forever, and then it will just simply break. And then they're just standing here, and you have poor little Mercy right there, and she's an easy pick. You can just have the enemy just flood right on through. But if you start making space here, they have to back up. As Mo just said, if you see a Reinhardt who's just swinging, the enemy is going to be able to kill him eventually, but they have to back up as well. And I think that's the best way to kind of describe it. A Reinhardt with his shield up is holding the ground, and that is very important. But if they are starting to lose the ground, then he has to start taking ground. So a Reinhardt who is here he is holding all this ground behind him. But now say that the enemy is pushing forward, and they're starting to have to fall back. Well, now he has to start moving forward to push them back. It's all about a give and take about your shield. Go Diva, please, and get your ult up.
Alright.
Now, this is one reason why you never, ever want your shield to break fully. So...
Alright, so I just attack you so I get my ult up?
Yes, please. Alright, ult. And once you have your ult up, keep attacking my shield until I say stop. And the moment I say stop, put your ult down, okay?
Alright.
Boosters engaged.
Alright. Stop. What's your ult at now?
84.
Alright, so this next one should have it. Alright. Go ahead.
Yep,
Good.
there we go.
Alright, so now break my shield as much as you physically can. Alright. And stop. Now, this is the least amount of shield I ever want to actually try to have. At least, so that's kind of the level of, look at how many cracks are in my shield, and if I see it get past 200, that's when I generally try to drop my shield, if I can. Now, put your ult down. So, now, that is the exact reason why you never want your shield to break fully. You saw how much shield I actually had left. I had almost no shield left. I had 76 shield left. Yet I was able to block the Diva Bomb. And everything behind me would still be blocked by that Diva Bomb, because that's how the shield works. It didn't matter that the Diva Bomb does, what, like 1,000 damage, I think it is? Somewhere in there? It doesn't matter that. I still had a shield. I still had just that tiny, tiny amount of health that my team couldn't take. Which means that the Diva Bomb was useless. Anybody behind me could still be living because I still had that little bit of shield left. And any ult like that can be stopped with a shield. Let's say a Reinhardt Shatter, that can still be shot. That can still be stopped. Let's say a Doomfist ult, that can still be stopped. Even if you only have one number left on your shield, you can stop all of that. Now, it will take you a moment to get your shield back to a reasonable amount of health where you can actually start, shielding again if you let it get down that low. But look how long it takes to actually get your shield back if it breaks. So, this time what I want you to do is get your ult up, and then break my shield and throw out your ult. Okay?
Okay.
So, do it to it, please.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. I'm curious, is it faster to actually just kill me straight off, or is it faster to let me heal?
This is not over.
I don't know.
If you would please actually just fly over here, that way I can heal up real quick. I'm making it much faster. Alright, so... And go ahead and use your rockets as well, in this case.
That's alright, ult's up.
Alright, so... Let me heal up. So now, break my shield. Completely break it. And throw out your ult immediately.
Barrier won't hold forever.
So, see? No shield, no shield, no shield. It takes so long for you to get to a point where you can actually start shielding again once it's broken, that you can do nothing. Never, ever, ever, if it's physically possible, let your shield break. the full reason for that is simply that you can stop ultimates like Diva Bomb. You can stop ultimates like Earthshatter. If you have even just that little bit of health left, you can stop it. So, once again...
Firing up.
Ow.
Game on.
Once again, thank you very much, Mo, for your assistance today in kind of helping explain a bit more on the strengths and weaknesses of Reinhardt and his matchups, and the importance of a shielding Reinhardt versus a hammering Reinhardt, and, you know, all the other stuff I talked about today. Thank you very much. I do greatly appreciate it, and so does anybody who eventually comes across this guide.
No problem.
So,
I had fun.
I'm glad. So, yeah, that's about all I can really think of. Can you think of anything I've said before, or that, you know, you can just generally think of good Reinhardts do that bad Reinhardts don't, or anything at all? Or are we good to go ahead and close the stream?
I think we're good.
Alright, well, everybody, that's been my little Forever Knights guide. It's been a pleasure, and thank you very much. Wrong button. And, no, what? Wrong button. No, there we go. That button, broadcast settings, off.